Today I'm going to show you how to remove and install a steering wheel on a Volvo. In this particular Volvo, it's XC90. Turns out there's a large variety of steering wheels available for Volvos. And the difference between the two steering wheels is this one has a dark wood finish as opposed to the leather wrap. And also there's no extra bulge in here for your hands to grip on like on the one I'm replacing. Also on this particular vehicle it's R design, so I'll lose the R design logo, which I don't particularly care about. But what was really important for this replacement was, in addition to the 3-spoke, there was the navigation option. So you really need to be careful which steering wheel you purchase. Even though it will look the same, you want to make sure that you're getting all your controls that you currently have. So after disconnecting the battery, really the only tricky part is removing the airbag, and that's held in place by this wire right here. It's like a little plug that goes in there, and this wire locks it in place. And the way you remove the airbag is you're going to place a screwdriver in the back here. You can use a pick or an awl, and you just push it right back in, and you're going to turn it inwards on both sides. You're going to push it all the way in till it hits the plate, turn it inward. On this side, push it all the way in till it hits the plate, turn it inward, and I'll demonstrate that. As you can see, the airbag release access holes are hidden by this clamshell that surrounds the steering wheel column, and even if you rotate the steering wheel 90 degrees, that will not expose them. So we're going to have to remove that clamshell piece. Step 1, disconnect the battery. There are 3 screws located underneath the steering column. You're going to need to remove those screws to take the clamshell off. Because of clearance concerns, I'm going to have to use my awl here, and the screwdriver was too long, and I just have the cheapy Craftsman ones, and I don't have too many lengths to choose from. But if you have a Phillips screwdriver that has about a 3-inch head on it, or a regular screwdriver, that's about what you need. So I'll get in here, release the airbag. You'll see the one side pops right off. Do the other side, and that's it, it's free. Alright, then I'll level the steering wheel. Then I'll disconnect all the hand controls by depressing the little lock right here and pulling it out. Then here's your airbag. This is how it locks in place. The cone is inserted into the spring, and that locking wire will snap right in there, and that's what holds it in place. Well, back in the day, as they say, I used to take digital pictures of everything and post them on bulletin boards, but nowadays it's YouTube videos, so you can still get your digital camera and take a picture of everything, because this is where we're going to disconnect it so we can see the magenta, green, and yellow from left to right. Alright, and the way I'm going to disconnect these guys is I'm just going to take my needle nose pliers and pull it up. Squeeze the locks and pull it up. Alright, looks like this vehicle's already been messed with. It only had one locking tab here, but that's okay. So this one also has two locking tabs if yours isn't broken like this one. Alright, with the steering wheel level, you're going to need an 18mm socket, and you can remove this nut here. It's very easy. When I did my Mercedes, they had the blue Loctite on there, and it was unbelievably difficult to get off. But for the Volvos, they just come right off. Now I do see some red Loctite on here, but I've never had a problem getting these off. Alright, just get the steering wheel level. It's going to be pretty easy to put the new one on level because the splines, even though they look fine, you'll definitely know when you're one off. So here I'm one off. Let me put it back. I had marked it, if you can see those red marks. Level. And one off. So with your steering wheel starting off level, you can put the new one on without a problem. Alright, we'll just take the old one off, and as you can see, the only thing we need to feed through are the airbag leads. Pull these guys out. Alright, I'll check them over one last time, compare new to the old. And also I showed you I marked it, so I'm going to mark this one also. I mean, there's a notch there, but make it red so I can see it a little bit better. And everything looks the same. I'll do a close-up exam. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to lose my R-Design logo here, but I'm really not too worried about that. Alright, there's your steering controls, switches, column switches and whatnot. I really haven't had a need to dig into any of that. You know, if you have any transponder issues nowadays, you know, you're just going to have to pony up and go to the dealer for Volvo. Some of your Japanese cars, locksmith can take care of things, but for your European cars, I mean, you're kind of SOL. But anyway, we're talking about steering wheels, so let's put the replacement steering wheel back on. Alright, so I'm going to feed my airbag connectors through the new steering wheel, and I know you can't see it from that angle, but I'll line up my red mark with the notch that I highlighted in red on the steering wheel. And it looks level. Alright, first thing is the switch connectors. That gets plugged back in. Then we'll connect the airbag. How did it go? I can't remember. Luckily, I took a picture. So anyway, we'll connect the airbag back up. It's kind of idiot proof, so unless you're colorblind, you can line it up that way: magenta, magenta, green, green, gray, gray. If you are colorblind, you can mark it like 1, 2, 3. Put a mark there and mark your connectors. You also want to note that the connectors are idiot proof in that there's a slot on one side and a notch on the other. You cannot put the connector in upside down. Alright, then we'll line the airbag pin into that spring and snap it in place. Alright, we are done. Alright, since it's an adjustable steering column, this is kind of rubberized. So in order to remove this flap from the top clamshell, I really didn't show that too well. You just pick off one end here, and then you squeeze the 3 middle ones, and then just pick off the other end, and that flap just comes right off. And to reassemble, it's the same thing. You just put the flap in the little slots here and hook it back up. So hopefully I'm zoomed in here well enough to capture this. It's real easy. Let's just snap in place here. There we go. The only tricky part in assembling the clamshell is to make sure your seals are lined up. What you want to notice is there's a groove cut out here and some notches, and so if you lose your orientation or if it doesn't seem to fit up right, that's because it's keyed, and you can match it up with the switch casting that the switch arms go into, and you'll see that it's kind of idiot proof. It just goes on one way. Alright, once you get everything lined up and snapped together, then you can replace the 3 bottom screws. Alright, there's my dark wood replacement steering wheel. I would have liked it lighter, did I mention that earlier? But that's okay, I'm replacing black leather with wood, so it's kind of a dark interior anyway. Alright, now we'll reconnect the battery. And I'll replace the cover. And I'll bolt it back down. Needed 3 different sockets. I needed a 12, a 13, and then for the battery terminal I needed a 10. Alright, then of course there's a function check, so you know I can check, make sure that the navigation comes on and works, so the navigation button in the back is working. Well, I can check that the volume button functions. However, I just want to finish up by saying that there are many different steering wheels available, different spokes, different styles. If you have access to the parts catalog, which is online at Volvo Parts, and you pull up your particular vehicle, you'll probably see 6 different options. So anyway, if you buy it used like I did, you're going to have to know ahead of time what you need. For example, in my case, after I matched up all the switches on the front, on the back there's the navigation. I needed that also.